Welcome to In the Gym with Michael Petrella. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about training around injuries. Now, injuries can occur in the gym. They obviously occur outside the gym as well. We're going to be showing you very simple techniques to work around these injuries to hopefully speed up the recovery and the rehabilitation process. Then we're going to shift focus just slightly to talking about preventing injuries in golf. The impact forces associated with golf are very high, and we're going to show you, again, very simple techniques to help strengthen your body. It's going to increase your golf game, and it's also going to keep you healthy on the course. Finally, we're going to talk a little bit about young athletes. Again, keeping with the idea of injury prevention, we're going to be looking at simple exercises that these young athletes can do to avoid loading of the spine, making sure their workouts are safe and productive. So today we're going to talk about injuries. We're hoping to prevent them in the gym, but we're also looking at, if they do occur, ways of trying to speed up the recovery process. Also, we're going to be looking at, if an injury is already present, finding exercises to move around those injuries so we're not losing time in the gym and we can continue to progress. So we're going to come up with the scenario that Valerie has a knee issue. Now, we're going to have her diagnosed as she cannot use full range exercise. Somewhere in the midpoint, that's where the injury is present. We may not know if it's a ligament, a tendon, a muscle strain, but we know that in the middle, that's where it hurts her. But we also want to bring good nutrition and blood flow to the area. This is going to help speed up the recovery. So what we're going to do is we're going to work in the ranges around the injury. And what we found is that if we can't use full range, but we can use the bottom and we can use the top, as they become stronger and we increase blood flow to the area, over time she will develop full range strength back, and she will develop it much quicker than if she was just left alone to do nothing. So this machine does have a range indicator, which helps, but if your machine does not, you're just going to have to watch cues like how far the weight stack is going up. So I'm going to get Valerie to perform repetitions just in the bottom part of this motion. So Valerie, I'm going to get you to put the safety belt on. And just like all other exercises, her axis of rotation, which is the knee, is in line with the axis of rotation of the machine. So I'm going to get you to start the repetitions, and we're only going to come about a third of the way up. Come up a little bit higher, right there. You're going to ease down, and we can go just a little bit faster in this nice smooth motion. Hold there, good. She's still giving the muscles of the quadriceps work. Hold right here. That's perfect. Come on up. Hold. Good. We're going to do just two more. Come on up. Perfect. And again, because we have a range indicator, it's easy to see where she's going. Come on up. Come on up. Hold. So now I'm actually going to bypass the mid position where she would be feeling discomfort. And now we're just going to work the top third. So you're going to ease down, Valerie. Ease down. It's going to be right about there. And you can keep your hand at that position so when the movement arm touches, she knows that's where to complete the repetition. Keep going, Valerie. I want you to get a little bit higher. Really work on getting up. There you go. Right there. Perfect. And we're just going to do two more repetitions. Come on up, come on up. Perfect. One more. Good. And again, because she has discomfort in the middle, I am now going to bring the weight down. So you can put your legs down, nice and easy. So this has been a tremendous method for helping someone rehabilitate a joint. This can be done for biceps, this can be done for triceps when we have an elbow joint injury. It has many applications, and like I said earlier, I have found that doing nothing in some cases actually prolongs the amount of time it takes for recovery. And it might be counterintuitive to push the muscle responsible for the injury, but it can, with proper application, speed up the time it takes to heal. Another very common problem that I see with people coming into the gym is that they have sustained some sort of hand or wrist injury, normally from the sport that they're playing. This limits the amount of upper body movements that they can do. Normally, lower body doesn't become an issue, with the exception of possibly deadlifting. However, again, we don't want to lose time in the gym. We want to continue to be strengthening the major muscles of the upper body. So one of the easiest ways of doing this are finding exercises that just bypass the muscles of the forearms, which is responsible for any sort of movement in the hand and wrist. So this particular machine here is a rowing torso machine where Valerie can perform the motion without holding on to anything. Chances are at your gym you will not have this exact piece, but a lot of the current day pec deck machines have the ability to flip the movement arm, so you can either do a row or you can do a pec fly movement. Both of these would be great examples of how we can bypass the muscles in our forearms and not load the hands or the wrists. So Valerie's going to bring her arms in, and you're looking to keep the arms parallel with the ground. If you were to drop your elbows down, and I don't want you to do it, Valerie, this becomes a completely different motion. Nobody really brings their elbows up because this is going to bother the shoulders. So I'm going to get Valerie to do a few repetitions to demonstrate. Nose back. Again, holding in the contracted position for a 1 second count, showing that she has control of the resistance. Hold. Perfect. Controlling both the positive and the negative repetition. Hold. This is good form, Valerie. And as you can see, even if her arm was in a cast and she had very little mobility, she could still perform this exercise, giving her exceptional range and very high stimulation to the muscles of the upper back. Just do one more, Valerie. Good. Come on down nice and easy. Just let your arms out. And like I said before, the reverse movement on a pec deck where the arms were to go around the movement arm would be another example of how we could also train the chest if we had a broken arm or some sort of issue in the hands or wrist. When people think about injuries in sports, they routinely think about the high contact sports such as hockey, football, and rugby. But in my experience, the sport that seems to yield the most injuries is golf. Now there's several reasons for this. First, a lot of people that are playing golf are not at the physical shape that a typical hockey or rugby player may be. But the other thing that they fail to realize is that the high velocity of the club is creating extreme impact forces on the body. So just like we want to condition our athletes to absorb the impact of a high impact, high contact sport, we also want to do the same for golfers. Now, we're going to be focusing on the muscles of the spine, specifically the lower back and then also the middle of the back. And we're going to do this by using an extension and rotation of the spine. Now, this machine may look a little complicated, but chances are at your gym you have a back extension machine that can be utilized. So I'm just going to show Valerie doing some extensions and showing exactly how I want them to be performed. So this machine is really nice because it restrains her femurs down so she cannot push through her legs. All the motion is being performed by her lower back. Again, if you don't have access to this specific machine, chances are there is something in your gym that is close. Again, using a nice full range of motion, no momentum, we are quite literally dealing with the musculature that extends up the lumbar spine. That's very good, Valerie. I'm just going to get you to do one more. She's never bouncing the weight at either of the turnaround points. So strengthening of the low back is going to have two very positive effects. One, as it becomes stronger, it's going to be able to absorb impact forces that are greater. Also, the stronger your body is, assuming you're working on your swing, the farther you're going to be able to hit the ball. So after we do exercise for extension of the spine, we're now going to do rotation of the spine. We're only going to demonstrate Valerie moving to the one direction, but I would get somebody to do both moving to the right and moving to the left. Now, a couple of points here. Generally, the way you swing a golf club, or the way you swing a bat, or the way you shoot in hockey, you are going to be dominant to this side. So I normally prefer people to start going on their weak side. This is going to help correct any muscular imbalances that you have in the body. Now, the other thing, I still want this motion to be done slow and controlled. The idea of doing fast and ballistically as a method of increasing golf club speed or increasing bat speed is inaccurate. It's just going to open up the body to dangerous impact forces. We are trying to strengthen the musculature here. We are not trying to become better at the sport. That's done by practicing the sport specifically. So I'm going to move Valerie to the one side here. You're just going to lock that in, Valerie. And again, under control, she's just going to start to rotate. Coming around, holding, good, easing out. Right about there. Hold, easing out. Valerie is hoping to not touch the weight stack during the entire set. If that weight stack ever touches down, it is unloading the musculature of her body, making the exercise easier. We'll do a couple more here, Valerie. Coming around, holding, good. Now, some people may find it's hard to breathe on this exercise, and that's because you're contracting across your diaphragm. So quick, short breaths is the best way to solve this problem. We'll do one more, Valerie. And come all the way down, nice and easy. Perfect, I'm gonna get you to grab that handle. Again, we would do this on both the left and the right side. I want to take a moment and talk about weight training for young athletes. There's been a lot of myths and misconceptions over the years about its detrimental effects. One of the main ones that has proliferated for some time is that if an athlete starts weight training too young, this is somehow going to stunt his growth. This has been proven to be false. Now, in many cases, we're seeing young athletes actually weight training younger and younger. The reason being is they're looking for the competitive edge. It used to be that young athletes would take up weight training in high school, but now we're routinely seeing it in elementary school kids. Not only can it help with their development, but it also helps them teach coordination over their body, build up their neural network, and once their testosterone starts to kick in, they can build muscle at relatively young ages. Now, the one thing I want to talk about is safety considerations, and the main one being is vertical loading of the spine. Because their skeletons are not fully developed, we want to stay away from vertical loading whenever possible. Now, this is not to say you can't ever teach them a lift like a squat, and there's certainly differences of when a young athlete is truly developed. One 13-year-old may still look like a boy when another could already look like a man. So you're going to have to judge it on a case-by-case basis. But I still like to limit this vertical loading of the spine whenever possible. So we're going to show you a couple of examples where we can work major musculature of the body with exercises that would traditionally load the spine. But we're going to show you a little bit different way of doing it. So I'm going to start with TK here, and we're going to go back to the idea of the squat. The squat works the legs, it works the hips, works a great deal of musculature in the body. Now, utilizing a device called a trap bar, which is basically a free weight bar that you can stand in, we're going to be able to work these muscles, but we're not going to put any vertical load through his back. So TK, I'm just going to get you to demonstrate a couple. Just come on down, grab the bar. I don't want you to pick anything up yet. Now, it's going to be the same as a straight bar deadlift. You want to keep the back nice and straight. You want to keep the chest up. And when he's in the proper position, all you're going to do is stand up. Just keep the head up, TK. Good. Come down. He's not going to bounce the bar. He's going to come to a dead stop. Come back up. Perfect. Come on down, TK. This is great. One more. And you can see with the trap bar, he's keeping the weight in line with his body. We're going to do one more. Perfect. Come on down, TK. Great job. So again, with the trap bar, it is in line with his body. He's not having to navigate a free weight barbell around his knees. We're working the musculature of his upper back, his lower back, his hips, and his legs. and we're doing it in a relatively safe manner. The other thing I like to mention with young athletes, I like to traditionally do higher repetitions. Doing a set in, say, the 3 to 5 repetition range, a lot of times they don't have the control over their body to make this safe. You make them stronger in the higher rep range, they're going to be strong in the lower reps if they ever had to, but we try to stay away from it. The next exercise I'm going to demonstrate is for the calves. Now, most people when they do a calf raise, they again vertically load the spine by having pads that sit up on their shoulders. Again, done properly, this is safe, but if we have an option to take away this vertical load from the youth, we like to do it. Now we're going to use a donkey calf raise, and this is going to load through TK's back, but he's going to be parallel with the ground. This is putting his back in a much stronger position. Now if you don't have a machine like this, you can also do it seated, in which case there's absolutely no load on the back. So TK, I'm going to get into the machine, lower back under the pad. Now he's just going to relax his upper body, same with the seated calf raise. I want you to relax any musculature that's not being worked. So TK, keep a slight bend in your knee. You're going to let your heel come down. Heel come up as high as you can. That's perfect. We're going to relax your upper body. Let this heel come down. Come up as high as you can. You're going to hold for 1 second, easing down. You're showing fantastic control. Good stretch. Come on up. Hold. Come on down. Get a nice stretch. We're just going to do one more TK. Up, up, hold. Perfect. And you can come back down. Good. So like every exercise in here, we're showing control. In the contracted position, which is the top of a calf raise, if the holding of it is using muscles, and what I mean by that is on a leg press, when you push all the way out and you hold there, it's the bones that are now holding the weight. On an exercise where the muscles are holding the weight, I like to show a pause in the contracted position. This shows that you got the weight under your own power. Again, getting back to the young athletes, like TK here, he weight trains a couple times a week. He has shown an increase in muscle mass. He has shown a drastic increase in strength. It has bettered his athletic performance. So as long as it's done safely, it can be very productive. It can help not only with the development of a young athlete, but it can increase athletic performance. Just be safe about it. That's it for today's episode of In the Gym with Mike Petrella. Now, safe productive training should never cause an injury, but if an injury does occur or you already have an injury, I hope that the topics we discussed today help speed up the rehabilitation process. For all of us at STG Strength and Power, thank you for watching, and if you need to get a hold of us, our website is www.stgstrengthandpower.com.